Okay, it looks like we got the mid-time hour. Can you all hear me? Give me a thumbs up. All right. I didn't bring my cowbell to the office, so you won't get no cowbell today. We'll have to do that another time. But today's Tech Tuesday. What does your sphere of influence look like? Again, you might be overburdened like this guy over here on the left-hand side, or you might kind of be boxed in like the guy in the middle, or maybe you're in your own little bubble. I think a lot of us are in our own little bubble with COVID now, but it is what it is. Let's take a look at sphere of influence. And again, we're talking about who do you know and who knows you, and how do those connections, what we ought to do, because again, it's listings. That's the whole focus here. The most successful people understand that this is where they start, and this is what they work, and this is what they massage. Again, I'm not going to read the entire slide because I always hate it when people just read slides to you. I don't know about you, but it drives me insane. But we network differently. Some of us network at the grocery store. Some of us network at the home improvement store. Some of us network at the beach. We can network all over the place. And let's see here. You are seeing my screen, right? Okay. So as we continue on, we're talking about other strategies. Again, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram, I'm following other real estate professionals. I want to know what they're doing in order to engage their audience, see if their audience grows. Service providers, we're talking about inspectors, we're talking about appraisers, we're talking about plumbing guys, handymen, whatever your needs may be. And again, members at your local community, get involved in your local area. I understand it's more difficult now with COVID and everything else, but just be involved with your community in whatever way. I don't care, adopt a dog or whatever. But purposeful networking, okay? And again, when we're talking about farming, we're typically talking about your neck of the woods, whether it be your subdivision, whether it be your school district, whether it be whatever it be. Again, the cool thing about Sphere, you define it. Nobody else does. But it's the one thing that I don't care whether you're a new agent or an old agent, experienced or not experienced, sphere of influence has an impact. That's always the first thing that you come into when you walk into a brokerage or someplace to start to work. And again, we're talking about your immediate family, the extended family, those folks that live in and out of state. Again, you say, well, out of state, well, how are they going to help me? Don't they have friends back here? I mean, seriously? Your spouses or partners' friends. I'm trying to be politically correct there. And partners. Whew. Anyways, brothers and sisters' friends, your parents' friends. Have you ever thought about that? Your parents' friends. Have you ever thought about actually reaching out to them? Again, I don't care where you are in your life cycle. If you're fortunate enough to still have your parents, hopefully they got some friends. And for the either the reunited or the youngly united, bridesmaids and groomsmen. And then again, after your wedding day, maybe you don't want to talk to those people no more. I don't know. The parents of your children's friends. This is a big one. I think in this generation we live in now, where kids don't go outside and play so much, we as parents don't necessarily know our kids' parents like we once did. But again, when I was putting this together, parents are your babysitters. I was like, wow, I can't even remember the last time I had to have a babysitter. My daughters did it for years, but again, classmates from high school. It's amazing. I've reached that age point where I now am in more contact with folks from high school than I ever would have thought of at this year stage, almost 50 years later. That just blows my mind. Fraternity brothers and sorority sisters. Again, if you were a part of a frat house, chances are you're still connected to those folks. This list could go on and on. Okay, we're talking about the girl at the drive-through window at Taco Bell. We're talking about the the guy at Burger King or wherever you go. Do you know their name? When you hand them your money, you ever thought about giving them a business card? I mean, what the heck? Just because they work at Burger King doesn't mean they can't afford to buy a home. I mean, seriously, come on, folks, think about it. I'm going to break this down in a little bit, okay? Because I think there's so many people within each of our lives that we overlook, and it's either because we got tunnel vision where I got to get this done, so I don't look to the right and I don't look to the left, or whatever it may be. But I think there's so many people that we actually ignore yet. There actually could be a part. So I'm going to define it. The people, I'm going to define sphere of influence connection. The people you know who know you, okay? It's not just people that know, but they got to actually know you, okay? And know you are in real estate. Now, that's a big piece right there, because they got to know you, and you got to know them, and they got to actually know that you're in real estate and who like and trust you. Did anybody's list just get smaller when I added that? I'm hoping not. I'm hoping nobody's list got smaller when we got to the like and trust. But let's put it all together. The people you know who know you and know you are in real estate and like and trust you. Again, I've heard it told many, many times how devastating it is when a friend lists with someone else or buys from someone else. Oh yeah, I forgot you were in that business. You know what? Shame on us. Because in reality, that's our fault, because we didn't stay in contact. We didn't stay involved in their lives. And again, how's the saying going? A friend is just the person I haven't met yet, or we meet more people by accident or whatever. Again, there's so many times we walk through our life. We're in the grocery store and we don't even bother to look to the right or left other than to see if they're wearing a mask or not. We don't engage in conversation. We're afraid like it's typhoid Mary or something. We need to re-engage, folks. And my sales point for what I'm doing, trying to redo this year, is just rehumanize our business. Rehumanize, re-engage, be the person you are. Introvert, extrovert, whatever it may be. So we got our parents' friends, we got our aunts and uncles' friends, we got our brothers and sisters and their friends and everybody. So what kind of information is really essential? What do we need? Okay, so name, that's kind of key. Phone number, that's kind of important. Names of others or friends or referrals. And again, this is like your parents' friends or your uncles or your aunts or your brothers, whatever, somebody that you may know indirectly, but you don't know directly. Notes of real estate needs and social media contacts. Again, do we need all that information, or is that more information than we need? For some of us, we probably like lots of information. Some of us maybe not so much. But here, email. I mean, again, if Prospect Square can work as a CRM just as powerful as it is as a e-marketing tool. Folks, I cannot say enough good things about Prospect Square. It is truly a very intuitive program, and you need to just take some time and wrap your fingers around it. But what I want to do here is, again, you all hear about sales funnels, whether you're putting stuff out there with Google Ads or Facebook or whatever. So you put stuff in and you look to see what comes out. What is important? Obviously their name, obviously their phone number, notes of real estate needs, and email. That's all you need. And if you got an email address, not a phone number, you should be able to get that phone number. If you got the phone number, not the email address, come on, a phone call. Let me send you something. Again, the ability with Prospect Square to be able to send them a market report of what's going on in their neighborhood, it'll take you a matter of minutes, but it'll make you whether you've been in the business for 3 weeks or you've been in the business 30 years, like Mike and friends. It makes you look smarter, makes you look intelligent, it's just, the tool is wonderful. But phone number, name, email, notes of their needs. So then it comes to truly, what is your goal? What is it you want? Your why. Again, we do the 100 dreams, we do the vision boards. Is your vision board so visible, or is it so stuck in your mind that you can describe it without even looking at it? Or do you have it on your phone so you can see it? Is it in your office? I mean, are you able to describe your vision, your why, without thinking about it? Goal success. So what do we got to do to get to goal success? And I'm going to break this down, okay? My personal goal this year is 95,000, okay? Now, I will tell you that the lesson that we're taking today is a take from CBU learning experience off of CBU, going to mycbdesk.com, and this is the SOI class that I'm presenting right now. Now I enhanced it some because that's just me, but I'm taking the information from the SOI class. Okay, so my personal goal this year is 95,000. My average commission per transaction is going to be $3,750. Number of closings needed, and again, whether it's 19 buyers or 19 listings, obviously, yeah, I'd rather have more listings than buyers because less time spent. Number of appointments needed, and again, 48 appointments. Now that's assuming that you use that 85% ratio of trying to weed out the prospects from the suspects. But number of contacts needed per week is 60. So I'm making 48 appointments. Number of contacts to make those 48 appointments are 60, which means I need to contact 12 people if I'm only going to work 5 days. Now, if I want to work 6 days, I can break that down. But the reality of it is, if I don't make 12 daily contacts, I already know I'm not going to make my goal. I don't even have to think about it. If I only got 6 daily contacts today, if that's all I had time to reach out to, and I don't reach out to 18 tomorrow, so I offset it, I already know I'm not going to make my goal. So this is why it's important to know your why. It's also important, I believe, to be able to envision what is your why, what is your vision board, what truly is your dream. Because when you put it all together, and you wrap it up into a package, you cannot help but have success. But you're your own master. You are the best coach you got, and you're also the worst coach that you got. Because when you get up in the morning, if you ain't feeling like it, you don't feel like it. And you got to be able to have the motivation, the desire to be able to say, you know what, forget this. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of watching others in my office succeed, other folks in the business succeed. You might have that realtor in your area that you really dislike or whatever. If you want success, it goes back to that last slide. What's your goal? And break it down. What does it take to get there? So this is really key. SOI, your sphere of influence connections. When was the last interaction they had with you or your brand? Now, this could be a tough question. That's kind of like that earlier one with regard to like you and trust you. But did they really know that you're in real estate? So when was the last time that you interacted with a phone call outside of Listing Boot Camp or Top Gun? When was the last time you sent a text message? When was the last time you actually sent them a letter from the heart? I've been in real estate for 3 days now, and I really want to be able to provide for my family, and I really could use your help. Is there anyone that has a real estate need? Your sign, your favorite nephew, whatever. Client appreciation. And again, whether we're talking a buyer, whether we're talking a seller, what do you do at closing time? Do you present a gift, or do you say, hey, thanks for the money, see ya? What do you do for client appreciation? Some agents are very creative in what they provide, and there's a vast majority that don't do diddly squat. It's simply a transaction and they don't care less. What about client appreciation to the extent that you actually invite folks over to your house of everybody that you've dealt with this past year, or sending them a Christmas card because their thoughts are on your mind, or sending out a note just saying thank you again, keeping your past clients help with that referral part. Don't take care of them, they won't take care of you. But the word client says that you've done something with them and they truly are in addition to your sphere of influence. Use them. Leverage your social media. Again, this will be an ongoing and ever-changing process. If you're not familiar with Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, again, those are the main three with regard to how they interact with Google. Instagram is currently in a float, whether it's going to survive or not, and we'll see. But core listing, as what we have today, they do have to work for you. And we're actually, there's a group of us that are talking about providing some additional content or avenues for agents to be able to produce. But just listed, just sold, proof of production. When was the last time that you got one of those postcards and you actually took it to the family reunion? When was the last time you took it to a bridal shower or a wedding shower or a baby shower or whatever? When's the last time you actually took proof of what you've accomplished and shared it with anybody? Because again, this is your sphere of influence. Now, I'm not saying, put on a lizard costume and put all your postcards on it and dance around. Not that wouldn't generate some business, but you have proof of what you've accomplished. Other than slipping it into a drawer and sending a couple of copies out to the folks in the neighborhood, what are you doing with the cards? We spend money on them, or we use just the free ones and we don't think twice about it. So the famous 4-4-12-365. 4 times a year, we need to have personal contact, face-to-face, phone, text. The whole, that qualifying conversation, what that's saying is that you actually engaged in a conversation, whether that conversation that takes 2 people talking, not just one, but whether you're doing it via the phone or where you're carrying on a conversation in text. And again, this goes back to, when was the last time you were in contact with your SOI? Some of us have 5 friends, and that's all. That's as big as my sphere of influence is. Some of us have hundreds, But the reality is, if we're not in some form of contact with them, are they really part of my sphere of influence? I mean, you tell me. You don't talk to them once a year or twice a year. Are they still a friend? Now, you may say, yup, because that's just the way it is. And it is that way for some of the folks I served with, but it's not for the folks that are truly a part of my sphere of influence. Snail mail. Yes, it still works, folks. Snail mail, whether it's a newsletter, a postcard, or a letter. Again, that heartfelt letter. Postcard. I'm thinking of you, and just wondering how things are going and want to know, is there anybody that I'm looking for some work here. I need some referrals for real estate. Keep it light, keep it simple. And there's not a lot of money invested in any of this. It's a little bit of time. Turn off the TV, invest in yourself. E-marketing. Again, I can't say it enough. Using e-marketing 12 times. Yeah, again, if you do nothing more than go into e-marketing and set up the holiday campaign for your SOI and contact them at least 12 times. I think I was going to count. I don't know how many holidays we actually have, but at least you're doing something. But I'm going to go back to that thing again. If they truly, would you rather have a sphere of influence of 20 people where you're actively engaged with, talking to them, texting with them, and that you're getting referrals from, or would you rather have 200 people in your sphere of influence, which you never get any referrals from? You want the 20 or want the 200? What I'm saying is, if you have a sweltering sphere of influence database that you can't manage, maybe it's time to trim it. Because if you can't reach them 4 times a year by phone, text, or face to face, or you can't send them a newsletter, a postcard, or a letter, or you can't include them in the prospect square, are they really a part of your sphere of influence? And last but not least, social media, 365 days. You know, if they're on your Facebook page, you have an easy way of being able to get their email address. So if you have 200 followers, in essence, you ought to be able to have 200 people in your sphere of influence, because you're influencing them some fashion or another. They befriended you or you befriended them. And again, Facebook's a great tool for it. Same way with Instagram. LinkedIn and Twitter is more of the business side of it. Okay, won't see a lot of referrals, although I have gotten a few referrals through LinkedIn. Basically, deals with where someone else was an agent and they're not familiar with the area, so I ended up with the listing as a result. So LinkedIn works, Twitter works, Instagram works, and Facebook. Whether Corliss is doing it for you or you tap into another resource, it's just waiting for you. And again, can't say enough. So here we go. Based on your business goals, how much money do I want to make this year? How many transactions is it going to take to get there? You know what's the cool thing about all this? Based on your business goals, number of transactions to get there, there's only 2 things you got to do. Isn't that pretty cool? Just 2 things. 1, you got to be making contacts. The more people you talk to, the more contacts you'll be making. The more people you talk to, the more likelihood you get a referral. The more people you talk to, the more likely you are to get a client. The more people you talk to, the more people you talk to. If you can walk into a grocery store or a department store or the feed store or wherever, never talk to anybody other than the cashier, start talking. In fact, start talking to yourself. Some people think you're talking to them and they'll strike up a conversation. And then once you get all those conversations working for you, now you're going on appointments. But that's all you got to do. If you want to make whatever your goal is, again, the goal was $95,000. I've already identified that it's going to take me 27 transactions to be able to get there. And so I just got to go make contacts and I got to go on appointments, because if I don't do either one of those, I'm not going anywhere this year. So I'm done boring you, and we're down to questions. What's your questions? I hear crickets. That's always a good sign. I love hearing crickets. I really do. It's when you ask me the tough questions, because then I have to go look at somebody else for the answer. Just as a teaser, Monday I'll be putting out a new BombBomb video next week. And the topic of discussion for that BombBomb video will be hashtags, because hashtags seems to be one of those things that people hear about and talk about, but how do I use them? How do I create them? And what's the purpose? So little bomb video on Monday. Hopefully you're looking for it. And if nobody's got no questions, I'm going to let class out 5 minutes early. How's that?
I don't have a question, Bob, but thanks, because you just need these reminders every once in a while.
Joyce, you're absolutely right. As one broker, who, again, actually there's a couple of them I admire very much. They always keep telling me, go back to the basics, go back to the basics. Like I said, whether you're new to the business or old, this is about as basic as you get. Thank you. Anybody else? With that, I shall say adieu and look forward to seeing you all again. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye-bye.